Hi, and welcome to This Is My Architecture. I'm Tom from AWS, and today I'm joined by Alex from Pushpay. Welcome,
Hi.
Alex.
Hi.
So tell us, what does Pushpay do?
So Pushpay is a SaaS platform for the not-for-profit and giving sector. We sell giving and apps solutions.
Interesting. And so what was the challenge that you faced? What are we going to talk about today?
So we're going to talk about how we took our monolith and started decomposing it into some microservices and a little bit of why.
Okay.
So we have a monolith. We've been in operation for about 5 years. That started out as a quite simple sort of single Windows machine with a SQL server, obviously it's sort of proving the idea. Now we've grown very rapidly, so that's scaled up. And we're now starting to see like resiliency issues and scaling issues around trying to keep that architecture moving forward. So it's built in .NET, Windows, SQL Server.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you're trying to continue with that growth. That's amazing, right? But you're running into some scaling challenges there.
Yeah. So definitely, like we're running into scaling challenges, and we feel like starting to decompose that into some microservices allows us to kind of make that a little bit more performant.
How'd you do it?
So how we did it is we took our monolith and we had some behavior in there around users and profiles and management, and we wanted to move that out into a microservice. We've got a .NET team that have a lot of experience with sort of working on Windows and SQL Server, and we didn't want to throw all that experience away. And so for us, .NET Core, which had sort of reached the level of maturity we're comfortable with, was a great opportunity for us. So we can run .NET Core on Alpine Linux, deploy it in a container, and deploy that or run that with ECS.
Cool.
And so that's what we did.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I'm not familiar with Alpine Linux, but what is that?
Alpine Linux is a Linux distribution that's sort of cut down. They removed most of the sort of user space stuff that you don't need.
Got it.
So that you can have small container images. Yeah.
Perfect. You're decomposing this monolith or strangling that monolith, to use your term, by using ECS.
Yes, so we're moving that functionality into some containers. We sort of call these like shared services. So this service is the identity service.
Okay.
And that's something that then means we have sort of sign in, sign up, profile, and a lot of other sort of functionality around users that can be accessed by both the Node platform, apps platform, and the giving platform.
Got it.
Yeah.
And so you had a bunch of .NET developers. How was this transition for them?
It was actually a really easy transition. So moving those .NET developers onto .NET Core, they still get to use all the same existing skills they have around C#. There is a little bit of challenge in sort of educating them around Linux and how that works in containers. But overall, it went really well.
Awesome.
One thing we did find is that they did have a bit of a lack of tooling. So some of the tooling they were familiar with when dealing with the monolith and sort of Windows, they didn't have available to them when dealing with containers, and especially deploying into AWS.
Right, and across a distributed system.
Yes, definitely, and across a distributed system.
And that's why you're using X-Ray?
Yes, so X-Ray we adopted quite early on. We needed to find some tools for our developers to get insights into how these requests were flowing through the distributed system, and also details about those requests.
Well, let's take a look at what that flow looks like.
Cool, yeah. So we start off with our .NET Giving monolith.
Yeah.
We created a GraphQL API as part of this .NET Core app. And so when we make sign-in or sign-up requests or update any user information, that flows out of our monolith and into that container.
Okay.
And then the same thing is happening for the Node apps platform. So we introduced the ability to support profiles into that. So sign up and sign in now happen via that GraphQL API.
Got it.
As part of this move, we were re-looking at sort of what ways we could scale this and how we wanted to kind of be able to continually scale this identity platform up as we keep growing. And we weren't really keen on like adopting another relational database for this particular solution. So we started looking at DynamoDB.
Sure.
And at that point, we sort of were thinking about the kind of information we capture. We capture a lot of history about user information. We want to use that for sort of insights and intelligence as well. Right. And it made a lot of sense for us to adopt an event sourcing
so you're doing an event-driven architecture.
Yeah. So these API calls that come in end up becoming sort of created as an event, like a sign-in event, and we'll store those into DynamoDB.
Cool. Yeah. And then I see we have Kinesis down here too. What are we using Kinesis for?
So those events are full form. They've got all the information we need to know about what happened. So they're a perfect candidate for also putting onto a Kinesis stream. So we feed that information.
Taking them and distributing them out using Kinesis.
And so that they will then flow out to other microservices that may need to store sort of their own copies of parts of that user's information. We also use it to feed into fraud detection services, and also plays an important part in then feeding back into the monolith.
Got it. So you've got a loop here where you're sending those events back into the monolith.
Yeah, so potentially a sign-in or a sign-up that happens as part of our Node apps platform. the monolith is unaware of it. So having that flow through back into that platform, maybe if the user updated their name or details, that will get back into our monolith so that our existing functionality that we have yet to strangle still ends up being able to work, so it has the right information up to date. We also give us an added benefit of this synchronization loop between the monolith and this identity service. We were able to sort of put checks and balances in so that when we had some updates that originated here and were sent out through, we could kind of also check that when they came back, they were actually still the same. So we had sort of
checks and balances.
Checks and balances that made us comfortable with them rolling this out into production.
Fantastic. Yeah, I love the story around X-Ray and this whole idea of decomposing that monolith so you can scale your business.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
No problem.
And thank you for watching. This is My Architecture.